I'm back. All right. There was a documentary that I was watching last night called Val, VAL. Val Kilmer. Say when. I was going through the tubes last night and on TV, not YouTube, on TV, and I was just trying to find something to watch because I had taken a nap earlier in the day, driving back from our trip, 3 hours, and then heading back out to go check on my grandfather. Took my grandson, and we hung out there for a little bit to visit and just check up on him. Plus, I wanted to take him to see my grandson, his grandson as well, and just hang out for a little bit. So I came back home, and I was like super tired. I was like, I can't take it. I gotta take a nap. In Texas, everything is distance here, either because of traffic or because it takes a while to get to where you want to get to, especially going to the beach from Central Texas area. But anyway, I was watching a documentary on Val and Val Kilmer, and it was very interesting. I still have about 20 more minutes to go because I couldn't take it last night. The internet had kept freezing up a couple times, and I was like, I'll just watch the rest tomorrow. So I haven't finished it. This is not a spoiler alert or anything like that. But if you get a chance, it's on Prime, Amazon Prime, and you get a chance, it may be somewhere else you can watch it, but that's where I watched it last night. Anyways, so it talked about, it showed, it was a documentary on him, and so what happened was that he has collected video footage from the moment he was a kid when he had a camcorder, back in the day when very few people had that kind of money or had that type of resource. And so he filmed a lot of his movies that that he grew up on, as far as like creating his own little movies in the backyard, which there's been a couple of movies of kids with the little camcorders making a film in the backyard with their friends and so forth. I knew one or two people that did that. It was too rich for my blood. I couldn't have, my grandparents couldn't have afforded one, but I thought it was always cool that people had access to an actual home camera. And so it showed, he shared his footage of, a kid growing up. He had two brothers, and I won't tell you what happened to one of the brothers in the documentary, but he shares his life story. But here I am looking at this guy, right? Tombstone, Top Gun, good looking guy, in shape, good looks, probably could have had any woman he wanted. Seemed like a good-hearted guy, but to fast forward all these years later, he came out in the movie Heat, if you remember that, with Robert De Niro and Al Pacino. But here's this guy that had everything, was blessed. I mean, he had some turmoil growing up, just like anyone else, right? Life happens. Parents divorce and so forth. But for the most part, he had a good life. And it just made me think that no matter how good your life is, right? Your life shifts. Life shifts and you change with it, right? Whether you want to or not. And here's this guy moving up the career ladder as far as an actor goes. He had his held-backs too. I mean, he was out acted Kevin Bacon, Sean Penn, and some other actors. But he did his part. Hey, this is a role. I'm an actor. Got to do my part. But you guys remember him for Top Gun, Tombstone, one of my all-time favorites, and Willow, and many other movies. And then now, fast forward to today, here's this guy who's beat up, throat cancer, he has to push the button to talk. It's just worn out, and you see this guy, and he's still living, like inside, he still has his spirit, but he's just broken down, his body's broken. And he sees that, he's tuned into the reality of who he once was versus who he is today. And I guess that's something to really ponder on, right? To think about, like, the person that you were then is not the person living today. If that makes sense. And documentaries like that, following people's careers. I mean, even myself, believe it or not, I had a lot of curly hair. A lot. Had a lot of hair as a kid growing up. And now, middle age, on the end of middle age, I guess you could say, balding. But for the most part, I've still maintained my frame. My body structure's always been this size, even in high school. I mean, I was obviously thinner, but compared to a lot of other people I know, people have a lot of health issues. And I take away from this, not comparing so much my life to theirs, or their life is better than mine, or vice versa, but know that whatever you have in the moment right now, you're young, youth, good looking, good looks, money, family has money, whatever. You could lose all of it, right? You could lose all of it and have nothing. But inside here, your spirit still lives. Your spirit still exists, right? And I see it among my own family members where their bodies are broken. People that are like my age, or maybe just a few years younger, my own family. And I think back, like, man, not even like 8-10 years ago, they were in shape, they were running, they were like kicking ass, badass, they were drinking all night, doing their thing, they were fun. And they were so cool that I thought, man, I want to be like that. To some degree, like, I wish I was as cool as them. And then I fast forward to today, and not that I'm the healthiest, or like I'm the best looking, or anything like that, but just I'm blessed. I'm still blessed. I may not have my hair, but I still have my same frame. I get out and do exercise. I don't have health issues like they do. I'm blessed, right? Life shifts, your health changes, and going back to Val Kilmer, I look at this guy and you can see the sadness in his eyes, because he remembers who he used to be. Everything he had, it's like he had it, or he built it up, lost it, and then whatever he has, he's just happy with. And to me, that says something, that you can be happy with minimal stuff. You can be happy living a simple life. The cameras kind of follow this guy around, and even his home doesn't look like, oh wow, he lives in a beautiful mansion or anything like that. He had lots of land in New Mexico. Gone, sold it. Had good looks, they faded, they went away. There's lots of things that you once had that you won't have later on in life. So something to think about. I ponder on life events, life things like that a lot in my life, to balance me out, to remind me that I'm blessed, to remind me that even some of my friends that have been more fortunate than me have gone through some things. It's not comparing apples to oranges, just it's a reminder for me to reflect on my own life and say, you're blessed, Red. Be thankful for what you do have. So anyway, Red out.